What if I told you that the little blue pill, Viagra, that millions of men over 60 lean on for hope, is not just letting you down but slowly robbing you of the natural strength that defines you as a man? My friends, relying on a pill for your manhood is like patching a leaking roof with duct tape. It may hold for a season, but the rot beneath only spreads. That is why I say with full conviction, it's time to forget Viagra and reclaim what belongs to you. My name is Dr. Jonathan Prescott. For over 30 years, I've worked as a urologist and men's health specialist, walking alongside men in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, men who thought their best days were over. I've seen their despair, but I've also seen their revival. When they discovered how to nourish their bodies the right way, they restored their erections, their confidence, and their dignity. Here's the truth most men never hear. Age itself doesn't have to steal your manhood. Your body still holds the blueprint for strong, natural erections if you give it the nutrients and habits it craves. Sadly, most men unknowingly sabotage themselves every single day with foods and routines that choke blood flow and drain testosterone. That's why today I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm going to share 3 powerful foods that restore circulation, reignite testosterone, and bring back the kind of firmness that makes a man feel alive, even at age 95. Just as important, I'll reveal 3 everyday foods, often sitting right there in your kitchen, that quietly destroy your ability to perform. And if you stay with me to the very end, I'll uncover the one overlooked food that works like rocket fuel for your confidence and vitality almost overnight. But before we dive in, let me ask you a favor. If this message speaks to you, I want you to hit that like button right now. Why? Because when you press like, you're not just supporting me, you're taking a stand for your own health. Every man who hits like is sending a signal: I refuse to surrender my manhood to age. And I want to bless that action, so here's my promise to you. May the simple act of liking this video bring you 3 things. May your mornings greet you with the strength and clarity of a man who still owns his spark. May your evenings hold the kind of confidence that keeps your partner's eyes shining. And may you carry the quiet pride of knowing your best years are not behind you but ahead. So go ahead, tap like. Then subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another men's health tip designed especially for you. And while you're here, type YES in the comments if this speaks to your heart, or type no if it doesn't. I read every response because your voice matters to me. Gentlemen, let's begin. When most men think about food for strength, their minds jump straight to steak sizzling on the grill or a couple of eggs frying in the pan. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful allies for your erections is something as humble as a thick, creamy bowl of Greek yogurt? Over the years, I've recommended Greek yogurt to countless patients, and I've seen the same pattern again and again. Men who commit to adding it into their daily routines often notice something surprising. At first, it's subtle: more energy through the day, better focus at work, fewer dips in stamina. But soon after, they begin to report firmer erections, better endurance in the bedroom, and even a renewed confidence they thought was long gone. Take Harold, a 72-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio. He came to me convinced his body had nothing left to give. He tried pills, he tried powders, but nothing held. When I suggested Greek yogurt, he laughed. "Doc, you're telling me a cup of yogurt is going to do what the little blue pill couldn't?" 3 months later, Harold walked back into my office with a grin I'll never forget. He had lost 10 pounds, regained his morning energy, and in his words, woke up like a 25-year-old. His wife had written me a thank you note of her own. Why does this food, something you can pick up for a few dollars at the grocery store, make such a difference? First, protein. Erections are chemistry, not just desire. Your body needs nitric oxide to relax blood vessels and push blood into the penis. Nitric oxide is built from amino acids, and Greek yogurt is packed with them. 1 cup offers more high-quality protein than many cuts of meat without the heavy fats that clog arteries. You're giving your body the raw materials it needs to fuel strong, lasting erections. Second, calcium. Most men think calcium only matters for bones. But calcium is the on-off switch for smooth muscle, and your penis is full of smooth muscle fibers. Without enough calcium, erections are weak and inconsistent. With it, your body responds faster, holds firmness longer, and recovers more naturally. Third, probiotics. The live bacteria in Greek yogurt do more than soothe digestion. They calm inflammation throughout the body, restore balance to the gut, and even support testosterone production. I've seen men in their late 70s with fading libido come back to life simply by fixing their gut health. And here's where history gives us perspective. Thousands of years ago, shepherds in the Greek mountains discovered this food by accident. They lived hard, punishing lives, yet many remained vigorous well into their 80s. Modern researchers now understand why. Their daily yogurt habit supplied them with protein, calcium, and beneficial bacteria that preserved vitality long after others their age had faded. I think back often to my patients who thrived in their 70s and 80s. Almost without exception, they embraced simple, nutrient-dense foods like Greek yogurt. Not fads, not miracle powders, just the kind of steady fuel a man's body was designed to use. So how should you use it? Start your morning with a bowl of Greek yogurt topped with blueberries or walnuts. Blend it into a smoothie with bananas and oats. Make it your evening snack instead of cookies or chips. It's inexpensive, it's easy, and it works. But here's the secret few men realize. You could eat Greek yogurt every single day and still struggle unless you combine it with its natural partner foods, the ones that unlock its full erection-restoring power. And that is where we go next. There is something almost childlike about peanuts. For many of us, they bring back memories of brown paper bags at baseball games or late-night snacks shared with friends after a long day. Familiar, comforting, simple, yet hidden in this ordinary food is a power that most men over 60 have completely overlooked: the ability to open arteries, fuel blood flow, and revive the strength of your erections. Over my decades of practice, I have seen men come to me discouraged and drained. Pills no longer worked. Energy was fading, confidence was gone, and when I suggested something as plain as adding natural peanut butter to their daily routine, many looked at me as though I'd lost my mind. But weeks later, the phone calls and follow-up visits told a different story. Take George, a 76-year-old Navy veteran from Virginia. He had battled years of frustration, leaning heavily on prescriptions that seemed less effective every month. His wife sat beside him during our consultation, her face lined with equal parts worry and hope. When I suggested peanuts, he chuckled. "Doc, I served in the Navy, not the circus. I need something serious." I asked him to trust me for 30 days. A month later, George walked back into my office taller, prouder, his wife's hand tucked tightly in his. "It feels like blood is flowing again," he said, "and not just to my heart." Why peanuts? The secret lies in niacin, also known as vitamin B3. Niacin works like nature's own erection pill, opening blood vessels wide so circulation flows smoothly into every artery, including those that matter most. Unlike drugs that force an artificial surge, niacin strengthens the natural pathway your body was designed to use. Alongside niacin, peanuts provide healthy fats that protect your arteries and keep them supple. These aren't the cholesterol-heavy fats of red meat and fried foods. These are clean, heart-supporting fats that allow blood to move freely and reduce the clogging that silently steals vitality. Every handful of peanuts or spoonful of natural peanut butter is like insurance for your circulation. Peanuts are also rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that shields delicate tissues from oxidative stress. Erections rely on sensitive nerve endings and responsive vessels. When oxidative damage sets in, signals get weak and responses fade. Vitamin E is like armor for these vital pathways, preserving function when you need it most. I once had a patient, Samuel, age 74, a former high school coach. He told me with tears in his eyes that he thought intimacy was behind him forever. After 3 months of simply eating 2 tablespoons of peanut butter on whole grain toast every morning, he confessed he felt like his body had been given back to him. For Samuel, this wasn't just about sex. It was about dignity, about feeling like a man again. So here's my advice. Keep it simple: a small handful of dry roasted peanuts, a couple of tablespoons of natural peanut butter spread on toast or blended into a smoothie. Avoid the sugar-loaded commercial brands, stick to the natural versions. Make it part of your daily rhythm and watch how your body responds. But let me give you a warning. Peanuts can only do their work if your arteries are free from the silent saboteurs hiding in your kitchen. There are common foods, ones many men believe are safe, that actually inflame your blood vessels and choke off circulation. And until you remove them, even the best erection-boosting foods will struggle to help you. That's exactly what we'll uncover next. When I mention lentils to my patients, many of them raise an eyebrow. They picture bland soups, cafeteria casseroles, or something their grandmother forced them to eat. Hardly the stuff of manhood, right? But I've seen too many men rediscover their vitality with this humble legume to dismiss it. Lentils, small as they are, hold a strength that most men in their 60s and 70s desperately need. The power to rebuild oxygen delivery, fuel testosterone, and support natural erections. Let me tell you about Frank, a 69-year-old retired engineer from Michigan. He had tried nearly everything: protein shakes, expensive supplements, even hours at the gym, but still felt drained, his erections weak and inconsistent. When I suggested lentils, he laughed. "Doc, you're telling me beans are going to make me feel 20 years younger." 2 months later, Frank sent me an email. He said, "I don't know what sorcery lentils are, but I feel energy I haven't felt in decades. And my wife, well, she's noticed too. Here's why lentils are so powerful. First, protein. One cooked cup of lentils delivers about 18 grams, nearly on par with meat, but without the heavy cholesterol that clogs arteries and strangles circulation. Erections live and die on blood flow. And protein from lentils gives your body the amino acids to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that opens vessels and drives blood where it needs to go. Second, iron. Erections are oxygen dependent. Without oxygen carried by iron-rich red blood cells, penile tissue starves and collapses quickly. Lentils are loaded with iron, ensuring oxygen delivery to the very tissue that makes intimacy possible. Third, folate. This quiet B vitamin helps your body build new red blood cells. More red cells equal more oxygen delivery, not just to your muscles or your brain, but to the smooth muscle of your penis. Men who eat lentils regularly often report not only stronger erections, but also improved stamina, sharper thinking, and quicker recovery. History backs this up. Roman gladiators, some of the strongest men in history, relied heavily on lentils and other legumes. They were even nicknamed hordearii, or barley men, because their plant-based diets fueled incredible endurance in the arena. They understood something modern men have forgotten: strength doesn't always come from meat. Sometimes it comes from the earth's simplest gifts. I'll never forget Edward, an 80-year-old retired teacher who felt utterly defeated. Pills had failed, exercise seemed to do little, and his energy was gone. I encouraged him to combine Greek yogurt with lentils, a partnership that forms what scientists call a complete protein. Within weeks, Edward was not only feeling better, but waking up to morning erections he thought were gone forever. The tears in his eyes as he thanked me spoke volumes. For him, this was about reclaiming dignity, not just desire. So how should you use lentils? Keep it simple: a hearty lentil soup, a salad tossed with olive oil, or even lentil pasta. Pair them with foods like Greek yogurt or whole grains to unlock their full power. But here's the catch: even lentils can't work their magic if your daily habits quietly drain your testosterone and stress your body. And one of the most common culprits may already be sitting in your morning cup. That brings us to the next hidden drain men rarely consider. For millions of men, coffee is sacred. The day doesn't truly begin until that first steaming cup touches their lips. I get it. The smell alone can stir memories of early mornings, long workdays, and moments of comfort. But here's the truth that most men don't want to hear: that same morning ritual may be quietly draining the very strength you want to preserve. I remember Robert, a 67-year-old former truck driver from Texas. He came to me complaining of constant fatigue and frustration in the bedroom. He was eating well, walking daily, and even lost weight, but his erections kept slipping away. When I asked him how much coffee he drank, he chuckled. "Doc, I keep a pot on all day, it's my lifeline." I nodded knowingly. His problem wasn't lack of effort, it was that daily flood of caffeine and compounds hidden in his mug. Coffee sabotages erections in 3 powerful ways. First, mineral depletion. Coffee is rich in polyphenols and tannins, antioxidants that sound healthy on the surface. But in excess, they block your body from absorbing vital minerals like iron, calcium, and zinc. Without iron, oxygen delivery to penile tissue plummets. Without calcium, smooth muscle can't contract and relax properly. And without zinc, testosterone production falters. Every cup you drink robs your body of the very building blocks of manhood. Second, hormonal sabotage. Caffeine spikes cortisol, your stress hormone, and cortisol and testosterone have a seesaw relationship. When one rises, the other falls. For a man in his 60s or 70s, testosterone is already declining naturally. Add daily surges of cortisol, and you're practically pouring water on the fire of your desire. Erections become inconsistent, weak, and unreliable. Third, dehydration and sleep loss. Coffee is a diuretic, forcing your body to flush out water and electrolytes. Even mild dehydration can cut muscle and erectile strength by double digits. And let's not forget sleep. Many men over 60 already struggle with rest. Coffee, especially that second or third cup, robs you of the deep sleep needed to release growth hormone and repair erectile tissue. The result? You wake up groggy, drained, and weaker than before. I once worked with Martin, a 73-year-old retired pilot. He was disciplined in every way. He exercised, ate clean, and managed his stress. Yet he couldn't figure out why his erections kept failing. When we looked closer, the answer was in his morning routine: 3 cups of strong coffee before noon. I challenged him to cut back to 1 and replace the rest with warm lemon water and cinnamon tea. 6 weeks later, he returned beaming. "Doc, I didn't think something so small could matter, but I feel like I'm 20 years younger." His wife had noticed too. "Does this mean you need to quit coffee entirely?" "Not necessarily. A single cup in the morning can be harmless, even enjoyable, but when coffee becomes your lifeline, it slowly becomes your downfall. Replace that extra cup with ginger tea, lemon water, or even a light green tea. These options hydrate, calm inflammation, and support circulation rather than sabotage it. Gentlemen, don't let nostalgia blind you. Coffee feels like comfort, but for too many men, it is a hidden drain, stealing energy, lowering testosterone, and drying out the very tissues that give you strength. And coffee isn't the only hidden culprit. In fact, there's another category of foods that men are told are heart healthy, yet they inflame arteries, stiffen blood vessels, and strangle erections with every bite. Let's shine a light on those silent saboteurs next. For decades, men have been told that oils like canola, soybean, sunflower, and corn oil are heart healthy. Labels scream it in bold letters. Doctors' commercials, even diet books preached it as gospel. And so millions of men filled their kitchens with plastic bottles of yellow oil, believing they were making a wise choice. But when those same men sit across from me tired, discouraged, wondering why their erections keep getting weaker, I know exactly what's happening. These so-called healthy oils are silently killing their circulation one meal at a time. Let me introduce you to Lawrence, a 71-year-old retired accountant. He prided himself on eating lean meats, fresh vegetables, and cooking at home. But despite his effort, he complained of weak stamina and fading intimacy. When we reviewed his habits, the culprit was clear. Every stir-fry, every sauté, every roasted potato was drowned in canola oil. He thought he was protecting his heart. In reality, he was choking off the very blood flow his manhood depended on. Here's the science. When seed oils are heated, they break down into oxidized fats, toxic compounds that inflame and stiffen your arteries. Erections depend on flexible, responsive blood vessels. Seed oils are like pouring sludge into your pipes. They gum up circulation, forcing your heart to pump harder while starving the sensitive tissues of the penis. Over time, the result is predictable: weaker erections, slower recovery, and rising frustration. But it doesn't stop there. Seed oils also trigger insulin resistance in muscle tissue, including the smooth muscle of the penis. That means even if you're eating protein and nutrients, your body literally can't use them to make nitric oxide, the molecule that fuels strong erections. You're locking the door to your own performance and throwing away the key. I recall Samuel, age 74, a retired carpenter. He came to me angry at himself, angry at his body. He had tried eating beans, yogurt, and nuts, yet nothing changed. When I asked him what oil he used, he answered proudly, "Always canola. My doctor said it's the safe one." I asked him to switch to extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil for every meal. 3 weeks later, Samuel called me, almost embarrassed by his excitement. His words: "Doc, it's like someone flipped a switch. I feel alive again." You see, natural fats, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, even grass-fed butter, don't just avoid the damage of seed oils. They actively heal. They calm inflammation, keep arteries supple, and help your body absorb the proteins and minerals that fuel testosterone and nitric oxide. They're like lubricating oil in a finely tuned engine, allowing everything to run smoothly. Gentlemen, don't let marketing deceive you. Those plastic bottles in the supermarket aisle may look harmless, but they are silent erection killers. They inflame, they stiffen, and they sabotage. And the tragedy is that most men never connect the dots. They blame age when in truth it's the oil in their pan. So here's my advice: take a tour of your kitchen. If you see bottles of canola, soybean, sunflower, or corn oil, replace them today. Stock your shelves with olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, or butter from grass-fed cows. Your arteries, your heart, and your manhood will thank you. I've witnessed men reclaim intimacy, restore morning erections, and rebuild confidence simply by changing the oil they cook with. It sounds almost too simple, but sometimes the smallest changes yield the biggest rewards. But seed oils aren't the only silent saboteur. There's another daily habit, beloved by millions of men, that looks harmless, even comforting. Yet it drains energy, spikes blood sugar, and sabotages erections one slice at a time. Let's talk about that next. If there's one food that surprises my patients most, it's white bread. For decades, it has been a fixture on American tables, at breakfast beside soup tucked into sandwiches. It looks innocent, comforting even, a slice of tradition. But behind that soft, fluffy texture lies one of the most damaging foods a man can eat if he wants to preserve his vitality and erections. I think of Walter, a 79-year-old retired mechanic from Illinois. He sat in my office shaking his head. "Doc, I'm eating yogurt, I'm eating beans, I even cut back on coffee, but nothing is working. Why?" When I asked him what he had for breakfast, his answer explained everything: 2 slices of white bread with jam every morning and another 2 at dinner. He thought it was harmless, just part of his routine. In truth, it was sabotaging him meal after meal. Here's the science. White bread is made from refined flour. During processing, the fiber, vitamins, and minerals are stripped away, leaving behind little more than starch. The moment you eat it, your blood sugar spikes. Your body scrambles to release insulin, trying to bring that sugar under control. But high insulin has a hidden cost. It blocks your body from using protein for repair. Instead of building tissue and fueling blood flow, your body diverts energy into fat storage. Erections depend on steady circulation and nutrient delivery. White bread does the opposite. It hijacks your system, floods it with sugar, and leaves you weaker with every slice. Another problem, that roller coaster spike and crash in blood sugar doesn't just affect your waistline, it steals your stamina. Men who rely on white bread often tell me they feel exhausted within an hour of eating. Their energy collapses, their mood drops, and in the bedroom, their erections simply don't hold. I recall Thomas, age 83, a veteran who had always prided himself on discipline. He was eating all the right foods, Greek yogurt, nuts, lentils, yet he felt stuck. When we uncovered his habit of eating white bread at nearly every meal, I challenged him to switch to sprouted grain bread. 3 weeks later, his wife called me personally to say thank you. Thomas was waking up with morning erections again, and his energy throughout the day was steady. For him, the difference felt like a second chance. So what's the solution? Replace white bread with better options. Try sprouted grain bread, which contains the full spectrum of nutrients and digests slowly, keeping blood sugar stable. Wrap your sandwiches in lettuce or collard greens. Use portobello mushrooms as hearty bread replacements. The goal is simple: avoid the blood sugar trap and give your body the steady fuel it craves. Gentlemen, white bread feels harmless because it has been part of our culture for so long. But the truth is, it steals from you quietly, meal after meal, year after year. Don't let tradition cost you your manhood. Your body deserves better. And now, before we move forward, I want to pause and do something different. Many of you have been leaving comments and questions on past videos, some serious, some skeptical, some downright funny. I promised I'd address them, and this is the moment. Let's dive into your voices, your concerns, and your challenges. Because this conversation isn't just about me teaching, it's about us building a community together. Gentlemen, before I close today's conversation, I want to pause. Over the past weeks, many of you have left thoughtful, challenging, even humorous comments. I promised I would listen, and I promised I would answer. So tonight, let me share a few of your voices. Question 1. Dr. Prescott, I'm 72 and I eat Greek yogurt every morning, but nothing has changed. Am I a lost cause? No, my friend, you are not a lost cause. Greek yogurt is powerful, but it's not a magic bullet. Think of it as fuel. If you're still clogging your engine with seed oils or white bread, the fuel can't do its work. Nutrition is a symphony, not a solo. Combine yogurt with lentils, nuts, and clean fats and give it time. I've seen men in their 80s thrive when they stay consistent. Question 2. Are you saying all coffee is bad because, Doc, I can't survive mornings without it? I hear you. I enjoy the smell myself. 1 cup in the morning is usually harmless. The trouble comes when it becomes 2, 3, or more. At that point, it's not just a habit, it's a drain. If you love coffee, savor 1 cup, replace the rest with lemon water or cinnamon tea. You'll be surprised at how much energy you reclaim. Question 3. This all sounds nice, but where's the proof? Isn't this just theory dressed up with stories? A fair challenge. Let me be clear, everything I've shared rests on decades of research in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and the International Journal of Impotence Research, combined with 30 years of clinical practice. The stories I share are real men, real cases, real results. Science gives us the framework. Human experience gives us the proof. Question 4, Doc, why not just stick with Viagra? It works faster than beans or yogurt. I understand the temptation. But here's the truth. Viagra is a patch, not a cure. It forces an erection but does nothing to heal the arteries, restore testosterone, or rebuild your confidence. Over time, reliance on the pill leaves you weaker. Food and lifestyle, on the other hand, strengthen the system itself. One is temporary, the other is lasting. Question 5, how do I even talk to my wife about this? She thinks I'm just too old. That's a painful place to be. My advice, don't start with words, start with actions. Show her your commitment by changing what you eat, by walking daily, by caring for your health. When she sees your energy rise, your eyes brighter, your spirit renewed, the conversation changes naturally. Intimacy grows out of vitality, not excuses. Question 6, Doc, do you really read the comments or is this just for show? Yes, I read them, every single one. Some make me smile, some challenge me, and some move me deeply. This isn't just about me teaching, it's about us building a community of men who refuse to surrender to age. Gentlemen, thank you for your honesty and your voices. Your questions sharpen me and they inspire others watching who may feel too shy to speak. And now, as we bring this session to a close, let's tie it all together. The foods that fuel, the habits that harm, and the truth about reclaiming your strength. Gentlemen, we've traveled a long road together today. We've looked at the foods that restore, the foods that sabotage, and the choices that separate decline from renewal. But the message at its core is simple. Your age does not define your strength. Your choices do. Erections do not vanish because of the calendar. They fade because the body is deprived of what it needs and poisoned by what it doesn't. I have witnessed this truth for decades in my practice. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, men who thought they were finished, came alive again when they honored their bodies with the right fuel. Think back to what we discussed. Greek yogurt with its protein, calcium, and probiotics feeding nitric oxide and smooth muscle function. Lentils, rich in iron and folate, delivering oxygen and energy where it matters most. Peanuts and peanut butter supplying niacin and healthy fats, opening arteries like nature's own version of Viagra. Together, these foods provide the raw materials your body craves to perform not just tonight, but for years to come. But just as important are the enemies you must leave behind. Seed oils, those silent killers hiding in your pan, inflame your arteries and block circulation. Coffee, when abused, robs you of minerals, drains testosterone, and leaves you exhausted. White bread, that soft slice of comfort, spikes your blood sugar and quietly strips away stamina day after day. These foods look harmless, but I promise you they are costing you the very manhood you long to protect. I've seen men who felt broken, men like Harold, George, Frank, Samuel, Edward, Robert, Lawrence, Walter, Thomas, rediscover strength they thought was gone, not with pills, not with empty promises, but with steady, consistent choices that healed them from within. And I believe with everything in me that you can do the same. So here's my invitation. Forget the quick fixes. Forget the little blue pill. Choose foods that build you, not break you. Choose habits that support you, not drain you. Choose dignity, independence, and strength. This is not about pretending you're 25 again. It's about being fully alive at 60, 70, 80, or even 95. Before we part, I want to ask one last thing. If this message has spoken to you, hit that like button. Not for me, for yourself. And every man who taps like is making a declaration. I choose life. I choose strength. I choose to keep showing up. Subscribe so you never miss another men's health session designed for you. Leave a comment, tell me your story, your struggle, or even your skepticism. Share this with a friend, a brother, a father who needs to hear it. Together we are stronger, and let me leave you with a blessing. May your mornings greet you with clarity and vigor. May your evenings bring you confidence and intimacy. And may you carry every day the quiet pride of knowing your best years are not behind you, they are waiting to be lived. Gentlemen, this is Dr. Jonathan Prescott reminding you your strength is not gone, it is waiting. And it begins with the choices you make today.